Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, Robert Oppenheimer. These men are just a few examples of household names known because of their great discoveries and achievements in science. But there's one brilliant mind that is far too often left out of the conversation, and her name is Marie Curie. She is arguably one of the most underrated scientists in history, considering how her discoveries changed the world.
Marie Curie discovered the element radium on December 21st, 1898.
The discovery of radium is a turning point in history because it led to a tragic outcome for a group of factory workers known as the Radium Girls.
While simultaneously starting the first giant leap towards effective cancer treatment, she also opened the door for many female scientists around the world.
This is radium. It's one of the alkaline earth metals. It is very harmful to the human body and can increase cancer risks, which is ironic given the fact that it can be used to treat some cancers. Radium is formed by the decay of thorium and uranium. Radium has 34 isotopes.
Marie found something unexpected. A pitchblende, which was thought to only contain uranium at the time, was in fact 400 times more radioactive than uranium itself. Marie knew there had to be more than just uranium in this pitchblende, so her and her husband Pierre investigated and separated the pitchblende, leading to the discovery of, can I get another drum roll? Radium! Now for a quick radium lesson. This is a pitchblende that contains many radioactive elements. Some of these elements are soluble in acid and some aren't. Lucky for the Curies, radium did not dissolve in this acid. Like a strainer, once everything was ready, they poured the acid out, leaving a mystery sludge at the bottom of the pot to examine, leading to the discovery of, can I get another drum roll? Radium!
Marie Curie was without a doubt a genius. She discovered radium, was the only woman in attendance at the Solvay conference, and was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. Marie Curie was born in Warsaw, Poland. In Sorbonne, Paris, continuing her studies, Marie met her future husband, a physics professor by the name of Pierre Curie. They fell in love and got married the following year. Pierre decided to drop everything to join forces with his wife on radioactive sciences. Personal life aside, when Marie and Pierre found a pitchblende that contained radium, it fascinated them, so they decided to study it. This discovery ended up being very important to radiological science. Radium was officialized as an element in April of 1902. In 1903, Pierre Curie was awarded the Nobel Prize for their work, but he refused to take it unless Marie was included. But she wasn't included because she was a woman. Thankfully, that same year, she was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for her research in radiation phenomena. Then in 1911, she was awarded with another Nobel Prize in chemistry. Curie died in 1934 at 66 years old from aplastic pernicious anemia, a blood disease that was almost certainly caused by her exposure to radiation.
Fun fact, Marie Curie's body and journal are still radioactive, and likely will be for at least 600 years.
While her life was cut short due to the nature of her work, her contribution to science continues on to this day.
Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less.
Marie Curie was the first woman to receive the Nobel Prize, which then allowed for other women to follow in her footsteps. In fact, in 1935, her daughter Irene Joliette Curie also received a Nobel Prize. Marie Curie is an inspiration to all women.
The farther an experiment is from theory, the closer it is to a Nobel Prize.
It's key to know why the discovery of radium is so important. It has led to many turning points in scientific history, some for the better and some for the worst, whether that's in the medical field helping to fight cancer or helping to understand the dangers of radioactivity to the body. It's known that radium is very dangerous on its own, but it took a while for people to understand how harmful it truly is. Because it glows green due to phosphorescent copper-doped zinc sulfate, radium was used in many commercial products, such as cooking products and cosmetics, as well as military products like clocks or aircraft switches or anything that needed to be seen in the dark. This was found out in 1908 by none other than, of course, Marie and Pierre Curie. Once people became more aware to the dangers and high levels of radioactivity in radium, the demand for radium products died down. However, it was still needed for its glow-in-the-dark uses. With all of these products being sold, someone had to make them. Introducing the Radium Girls.
Though the Radium Girls might seem like the latest superhero group, it's actually one of the saddest points in radium history. In a factory in Newark, New Jersey in the early 1920s, a group of factory workers were using radium to paint glow-in-the-dark watches for World War I soldiers. So long as the radium was contained and sealed, it posed no threat to the soldiers wearing these watches. However, for the watch painters, known as the Radium Girls, they were not so fortunate. The paintbrushes had to be at a fine point because the numbers were teeny tiny, and to get that fine point, the women would lick the paintbrushes. They dip the paintbrush back into the radium and then lick the same paintbrush again and again. They licked the radium paintbrushes. Their bosses isolated themselves from the women in their work, which leads one to believe that maybe they'd known something that the Radium Girls didn't.
In 1928, after getting sick, 5 of the women successfully sued the Radiation Corporation and were awarded financial compensation for the treatment of their radiation poisoning. While this turning point in history may have led to the deaths of multiple innocent women, it also served as a lesson to the greater public about the dangers of radium and radioactive material. Radium continued to be used in products until the 1960s, but there were restrictions put in place for safer use. The search for an effective cancer treatment has been sought long before it was understood what cancer was. Before radium, popular treatments included cannabis oil or caustic paste, but after the advent of radium, scientists found a way to implant radioactivity into cancer cells to arrest them using thin spurts of radioactivity. These were often referred to as radium needles due to their shape. Here's how radiation therapy works. Doctors would send high doses of radiation to the cancer cells in hopes of damaging their DNA. Once the DNA is destroyed, the cells either can't divide anymore or they are dead. Once the cells die, the body breaks them down. This process can take days or even weeks. There have been several studies throughout the United States that show how well radium R8223 works in treating people with prostate cancer. Dichloride is a radioactive drug that can be put into the body through a vein and is taken up by bones once in the body. This is also known as chemotherapy. Radioactive drugs give off energy, which then stops the cancer cells that support the tumor, rendering the cancer cells weak and therefore less able to repair broken DNA than a normal cell. Using light rays of radiation directed at a cancer cell only harms the cancerous cells, causing it to either shrink or disappear completely. Thanks to the continuing development of cancer treatments due to the advent of radiation therapy, many people's lives were saved and continue to be saved to this day. Presently, radium is no longer used in medical treatments, mostly because it's the most radioactive element and extremely dangerous to be exposed to. However, it was our first stepping stone into further advancement in cancer treatment technology. As of 2023, there have been 64 women who have won the Nobel Prize. Marie's legacy for women's advancement in science continues to live on.